Where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. God has given us unlimited treasures in His Word. Every time we open it, we can discover a new treasure or admire an old one. What will we find today? Here's Carla Early with Treasure Hunt in the Word.
Until I was 18 and went off to college, I had lived my whole life in the same house and attended the same church. Since then, I've lived in several different cities. Preceding each move was lots of prayer, usually some confusion and agonizing, and always a few tears. The decision to move where we currently reside probably brought the most tears, but God made His will perfectly clear. Even so, saying goodbye to my parents, our church, and other friends was really difficult. But when God moves you, you have to go. That's what happened in our passage today. First, we see Barnabas and Saul returning to their church in Antioch after delivering a gift to the Jerusalem church. Barnabas and Saul, later called Paul, became two of the main characters in this next section of Acts. They brought with them John Mark, Barnabas' cousin, and as the gospel spread, the church multiplied and grew, and they got to be part of it. In the first verse of Acts 13, we find a list of leaders of the church in Antioch, which would have been the epicenter of the early church for at least a couple of decades. Remember when Gentiles became believers in Antioch? The church in Jerusalem sent Barnabas, the son of encouragement, to encourage the believers and be sure that they were doctrinally sound. He became what we might think of today as the First Church of Antioch's head pastor. The second in the list is Simon called Niger. Niger means black, so he was probably a black man from Africa. The next is Lucius of Cyrene. We don't know much about him except he wasn't originally from Antioch. He was from Cyrene. Maybe he knew Simon of Cyrene who carried Jesus' cross. He also may have been one of those who brought the gospel to Antioch in the first place. Back in Acts 11:20, it says some of the men from Cyprus and Cyrene preached to the Hellenists, and a great number of them believed. Next on the list is Manaen, who had been brought up with Herod the Tetrarch. This is the Herod Antipas who beheaded John the Baptist and presided over one of Jesus' trials. Perhaps Manaen was even in the banquet that Herod was throwing when Salome asked for the head of John the Baptist on a platter. If so, that would explain where John Mark got the details of that event for his gospel. Manaen was an aristocrat, brought up in the household of Herod the Great, who killed the babies of Bethlehem in an attempt to kill the Messiah. How'd he end up here? I'm sure there's a great testimony behind that. Then the last member of the leadership team listed is Saul. We know him, scholar, former Pharisee, and persecutor of Christians. Barnabas had specifically sought him out to round out the team. Yet he's listed last, possibly indicating that he was the lowest man on the totem pole at that point. All these guys were from very different backgrounds, yet God brought them together in unity to found and lead this dynamic church in a key area. Only God could do that, and only God could separate them the way He did. As they met and worshiped together during a time of fasting, the Holy Spirit told them, "Separate to me Barnabas and Saul for the work which I have called them." God wanted two of their main leaders to leave and go on a mission trip, not for a couple of weeks, but a few years. Most churches would be in an uproar about this, but without any hesitation, no recorded discussion, the group laid hands on them and sent them away. There was no thought of disobeying God's words. Saying yes to God's call often means saying no to things, even good things, that might keep you from that call. And it always involves change. This was a huge sacrifice for the Antioch church and for Barnabas and Saul as they gave up their leadership positions to go. Both groups showed dependency and obedience to God. When God tells you to do something, what's your first reaction? Do you weigh the options, ask other people's opinions, consider other ways to get it done? Or do you simply do it?
You can contact us at treasurehuntintheword@gmail.com. We'd love to hear the treasures God has given you through His Word. You can listen to other episodes at our website, which you can find in the description below. Thanks for listening, and remember, where your treasure is, there will your heart be also.